Ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. You're watching another edition of Break the Fake, where we debunk fake news and combat false narratives. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and let's get rolling. Now, successful and regular strikes on Russian oil refineries have produced a very predictable result. Russia is now in the middle of a full-blown fuel crisis. Drivers across multiple regions are waiting for hours, and in some cases up to a day and a half just to fill their tanks. Now, wherever a gas station still has fuel, massive lines appear almost instantly. Tempers have gone from frustration to open rage. The shortage has become so severe that people are literally fighting over gasoline. In Penza, a line at a gas station ended in a mass brawl with baseball bats. In Perm, an argument escalated into a shootout. And in Novorossiysk, desperate residents skipped the line altogether and hijacked an entire fuel tanker.
В общем, ситуация такая. Были у нас здесь, взяли машину, перекрыли топливную, чтобы людям заправили бензин. И они начинают тут забастовку делать, чтобы могли заправиться физлица, обычные люди. На самом деле это несправедливо. Для спецтехники привезли топливо, а люди уже неделю не могут заправиться здесь на бензине. И ситуация такая, что некоторым нужно уехать из города, кто не местный. В общем, коллапс полный. И всей ситуации что можете сказать?
Беда бедовая вообще просто.
В общем, вот так взяли, перекрыли.
And the crisis is spreading far beyond the pumps. Across Russia, fuel is being siphoned from parked cars under the cover of darkness. In provincial towns and rural areas, people are buying bicycles and workhorses in large numbers because they have become more practical and reliable than cars that run on fuel. They're like a few weeks away from going full Mad Max at this point. Now, for people living in the cities, the shortage has brought everyday life into a crawl. Even in major urban centers where oil refining is still operating, the queues are surreal. In Kazan, one resident pulled out a pair of binoculars to see where the line ended. It didn't really help. At this point, you'll probably need satellite imagery to get a guesstimation of when it's your turn to refuel. Funny videos aside, Russia's fuel crisis shows how the consequences of the war are hitting ordinary people in the most basic of ways. One of the world's largest oil-producing countries is pushing its own citizens towards bicycle and horse-drawn transport, while the propaganda machine keeps talking about resilience under sanctions. For a country that calls itself an energy superpower, this is kind of an awkward way to prove it. While Russians are struggling to stop Ukrainian drones that continue striking oil depots and military facilities deep inside Russia, one Russian woman believes that she has found the answer. A video is rapidly spreading across social media in which she confidently proposes turning Russia's air defense into a market-driven enterprise. Now, her strategy is remarkably simple. Pay ordinary Russians a little over $250 for every drone they shoot down. According to this lady, that would be enough to turn everyone, from the unemployed to pensioners, into an effective air defense network that would outperform professional soldiers. Forget surface-to-air missile systems. Apparently, all Russia needed was a cashback program.
Предлагаю назначить денежное вознаграждение в размере 20 тысяч рублей за один сбитый беспилотник. Я думаю, наши люди найдут способ и возможность и отследить эти беспилотники, и сбить их, и найти, откуда их выпускают, и куда они летят, и где они там вообще пасутся. Я думаю, и за 10 тоже справятся. По-моему, у нас другого выхода нет.
Now, the proposal raises an obvious question. Does she realize that the biggest obstacle to shooting down drones isn't a lack of financial incentives? But the idea also reflects a way of thinking that never really disappeared. If every problem can supposedly be solved by throwing money at it, then why not air defense? It's the kind of economic logic that survives surprisingly well after decades of Soviet central planning, where complex problems were expected to disappear after the right order, quota, and reward was announced. The proposal is a fitting illustration of a mindset shaped by decades of Soviet propaganda and economic illiteracy. Instead of technological solutions, military planning, or trained personnel, the solution is to spend their way out of it. It's the old Soviet reflex: if something isn't working, the state just needs to throw more money at it. Chechnya's personality cult has reached another milestone. A limited edition of luxury iPhones has gone on sale. Each one features a portrait of Adam Kadyrov on the back, the son of the Republic's leader and the recipient of dozens of dubious medals. The price is a modest $5,300. At the current exchange rate, that's roughly the annual budget of a small Russian village.
У нас уже готовится к отправке вот такой iPhone 17 Pro, лимитированное платиновое издание с карбоновой вставкой с вот таким дизайном. Объем памяти 1 терабайт, цена 400 тысяч. Количество ограничено, спешите приобрести.
The announcement kind of puts them in an awkward contradiction. For years, the Kremlin has urged Russians to embrace import substitution and abandon Western technology, while propagandists have branded American gadgets as tools of espionage. Yet in Chechnya, the ultimate patriotic collector's item is an Apple iPhone. And it isn't even the first time. Ramzan Kadyrov himself was just flexing his Tesla Cybertruck on social media the other day. Apparently, when it comes to celebrating loyalty, no domestic alternative is good enough. In reality, the shiny golden iPhone says more about Russia's ruling elite than another 100 speeches about resisting the West. The slogans about rejecting Western products disappear the moment status and prestige enter the equation. It turns out, the fastest way to kill the idea of import substitution is to ask the elite to actually use it themselves. And with that, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.